Hello everyone. Welcome to Fitcad, your fitness show here on OCADU Live. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a hip thrust, how to use the hip thrust machine, and just in case you do not have these complicated machines at your gym or you want to do it at home, I'm going to be showing you different alternatives of how to do a hip thrust without the machine. So first off, let's go over the form. Where to position our torso, you want to find what we call the wings, which are the scapula bones back here. And if you have a bra, then you're lucky because it's easier to find. It would be right around the strap of your bra, and that is where you would position your torso. I'm going to be showing you later on how to do it with a bench so that you can see it more visual. But if you have an incline bench like me right now, that is exactly the point where you would lift your torso. So you wouldn't want to come up here at your shoulder, neither down here where your hip area is. This is exactly where you would be pushing up from, okay? So now onto feet position, we're going to bring our feet up and it's going to be shoulder width apart. Now you want it close to your body because if you have them far away, you would be working out your hamstring, which is actually not the correct form. You could do that, but you shouldn't. So just have your feet closed so that when we come up, you are at a 90-degree angle. And now onto the back. The most important part is that you do not want to be breaking your back. I do not want to be seeing this to do a hip thrust. You're going to be using your lower back, and that is really going to be hurting when you're using weight. So the most important part is that you want your back to be in a complete straight line and your chin tucked in. I do not want to see you looking at yourself in the mirror like this because that is not correct. You want to be looking forward, chin tucked in, back in a complete straight line. I'm going to have my arm up here so that you can see the side of my torso. And you want to come up and down. You want to remember how to breathe through your diaphragm. So you breathe in, squeeze, and up, and down. Chin tucked in, and up, and down. And when you are pushing, you want to push through your heels. That is what is actually going to be working your quads and your glutes. Okay, so now that I have shown you all of the basic steps on how to do the correct form for a hip thrust, you can add weight, any weight that you want. I'm going to be showing you 3 different ones today, and it is basically the same thing. You are going to have the same form for all of them, and you're just adding weight in a different way. So now onto the machine that I have here today. This one has a strap that goes over my legs, and it's kind of like a seat belt. You click it onto the other side. So just in case, there are some machines that come with a belt, but they are a little bit different. So this one right here does not have an adjustable belt. And the reason is because the back padding back here does not move, only the arm up here. So to lift it up, I am the one that's going to come up and lift up the weight, but the back padding does not move. So the ones that come with the adjustable belt have a longer back padding, and you're basically tying yourself to the back padding. I don't think that's the name, but the back padding to lift it up with you. So if you feel like this one is a little bit looser than what you're used to, don't worry, they are different machines. Okay, so if you want to add weight, I'm going to come up so that you can see it. If you want to add weight, you would be adding it to the tubes down here. So just make sure you look at how many tubes your machine has. This one has 2, 1 on each side, and you want to make sure you add the same weight on each side so that you're balanced. But there are some machines that just come with 1 tube on one side. Usually it's the one that comes with an arm. But that is it. This is how you use the machine. You just put your feet up, same technique that I showed you, except you are now carrying the weight with your waist. You want to make sure that you breathe and engage your core correctly because that is where you're going to be adding the weight. It's going to be applying pressure and you don't want it to be uncomfortable. So I know you already saw more or less how it works, but just in case you want to go over it, you want to have the same form. So feet up, you're going to apply pressure through this part of your torso. You're going to have a complete straight line, chin forward, tucked in. You want to breathe through your diaphragm, and you want to make sure you're doing that because the weight is going to be applied right there and it can hurt if you're not doing that correctly. And just in case you were wondering where you are going to put your arms, clasp them together, put them in front of your torso because if you have them back here, you might want to be using them to bring yourself up. So just to avoid that, have them up here. Make sure your shoulders are not up here, just let them loose. And you want to breathe in, come up, and down, up and down, up and down. Come down slowly. You don't want to make a lot of noise. Unclasp yourself. And that is how you use the machine. Very simple. Once you know the form, you can do it wherever you want. Okay, so on to the next version of hip thrust. I'm going to be showing you how to do it with a barbell, a bench, and you also want some padding. If you do not have one of these at home or at your gym, then you can use a yoga mat and you can fold it in half and use that between you and the barbell. So first off, the bench. As I showed you before, that is what we're going to be focusing on first. It is our torso position. And you will not see me here, but you want to find a bench that is around knee height. So even though it is perfect for the bench to be around our knee height, we all have different body ratios between our torso and our legs. So let's say I have a shorter torso, which means I would want to add a little bit of height so that when I come against the bench, it is right around the point that I told you about before. So onto the next step is adding the barbell, and you want to make sure that it is centered to your body, because if not, when you go and lift it up, you're going to be wobbling around. Now here is where we add the padding. There is an opening right here. You want to put it in, and you want the opening to be looking up so that when you go and lift it up, it doesn't turn around and then the bar is against your body and the padding is not doing anything. If you do not have a pad, here is where you grab the yoga mat, you fold it in half, and you put it underneath and in between the barbell and your hip. A little trick that I have is to avoid being completely straight against the bench. I like to scoot forward a little bit and then be inclined so that when I come up, I just have to do the motion of going up instead of scooting around trying to find the point that I showed you before of the scapular bone. So a little trick for the feet position is that you put your legs straight, you place your hands right where your knees end, and that is where you're going to place the end of your heels. So that way, when you go and lift up, you are already at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so now that we have all of this covered, you're going to go ahead and lift the weight. So make sure, as I told you before, that the bar is centered to your body so that you're not wobbling around. Okay, feet position, torso, place yourself up and lift. Up and down and up and down. One more time. Up and that is how you do hip thrust with a barbell. So the last version for hip thrust is one that you can do at home if you have dumbbells, and you are going to do the exact same thing that I showed you for the barbell version. So you are going to find a bench around knee height. If you have a shorter torso like me, you're going to be adding some height underneath you, and this time you are going to be using the dumbbell to be at your hips. You're going to be inclining your torso just a little bit. You can grab the dumbbell with your arms so that you can place your feet position. And now you just go up and you add the weight to your hips. So we come down and up, down, and up. And one last time, down and up. And that is it. That is how to do the correct form for a hip thrust, how to use the machine, how to do the barbell version, and how to do the dumbbell version that you can do at home. So I hope you liked the video and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye.